A security guard anonymously sent me a video of my wife's boss fucking her during a business trip. I took all her things outside, leaving only the laptop with that video playing open. Be me, 29 years old, living what people would call a perfect life. Married to Victoria, my wife of 4 years. Everything starts on a random Thursday night. Should have been just another normal evening. Victoria had been acting weird for several months. Not obviously weird at first. The kind of weird that sneaks up on you. Makes you question yourself instead of the other person. That night, we're sitting on our leather couch, Victoria glued to her phone as usual. But something feels different. There's this weird tension in the air. She's laughing at something on her screen. Laughing more than she has in weeks. Not laughing with me, though. Whatever's making her happy is happening behind that glowing screen. Try to pretend I'm interested in the documentary we're watching. But my mind is racing. Every laugh she lets out feels like a punch to the gut. Keep wondering why she doesn't laugh like that when we talk anymore. Not even feeling jealous yet. Just confused and worried. Tell myself maybe it's work stress finally lifting. Maybe she's finally feeling better after months of pressure. Let it slide again like I've let so many things slide lately. Keep telling myself it's just a rough patch. But that night she slips up. Makes a tiny mistake. Something most people wouldn't even notice. Unless they were already suspicious. Victoria gets up to grab some sparkling water. Leaves her phone on the couch. Face up. Screen unlocked. Seems harmless enough. But as she walks away, message flashes on the screen. Just for a second. It's from Thomas, her company's CEO. No big deal at first, but the words I catch in that quick glance, they weren't about work. Last night was incredible, you keep surprising me. In that moment, my whole body freezes. Heart pounding so hard it drowns out the TV. Can't process it at first. Want to believe it's innocent. Maybe a dinner meeting. Maybe they closed a big deal. But that would be naive, right? Victoria returns with her sparkling water. Casually sits back down beside me. Feel her shoulder brush against mine. Suddenly feels like I'm sitting next to a stranger. Cold sweat running down my spine. Can't even look at her anymore. My mouth is dry. Throat feels like someone's choking me. Don't say a word. Head is spinning with questions. Wonder if I'm overreacting. Maybe jumping to conclusions too fast. No real proof yet. But that message, it wasn't normal. Not for a boss. First time in our entire marriage I don't trust her. That realization hits harder than anything. Can't shake the feeling that something's been happening right under my nose. All the signs were there. Distant looks, late nights, random business trips. But I didn't want to believe any of it. As she sits there next to me, casually sipping her drink, scrolling through her phone. Make a decision? Not going to confront her right now. Need more evidence. Not about to be the idiot who accuses his wife with nothing but a single message. Decide to watch, to wait, to dig deeper. But this is just the beginning. Next few days turn into pure hell. Every time Victoria walks through the door, every time she laughs at her phone, every time she makes another excuse about work, feels like someone's squeezing my lungs tighter and tighter. Start noticing things I never would have before. Maybe I'm looking too hard. But once that seed of doubt is planted, it grows into a whole forest before you realize it. She's not just texting more often. She's hiding it, turning her phone away when I get too close. Catch her putting her phone face down on tables. Classic move when you're hiding something. When I ask about work, she gives these vague, robotic responses. Not her usual rant about office politics or how much she hates dealing with clients. This is different, like she's trying to avoid giving me too much information. One night, she tells me about another business trip coming up. Another one. Feel my face getting hot. Words ready to explode out of me. Ready to confront her right there. But hold back. Not yet. Instead, ask casually where she's going this time. Phoenix, she says. Doesn't even look at me while packing her suitcase. Quick trip, I'll be back in 2 days. Phoenix. We don't live anywhere near there. Who has a quick trip to Phoenix anyway? Everything about it screams wrong. But play it cool. Ask if she's going alone. She quickly mutters something about colleagues going too. But no one you know. Sounds rehearsed. Like she had the answer ready. My hands clench into fists under the table. Mind racing with possibilities. But don't push her further. The night before she leaves, do something I never thought I'd do in my life. Wait until she falls asleep. Heart pounding in my chest. Quietly take her tablet from the nightstand. She never locks it. Always thought it was safer than her phone. As I unlock it and start scrolling. Not sure what I'm hoping to find. Part of me prays this is all in my head. That I'm just being paranoid. Maybe I'll just find boring work emails. Or her endless Pinterest boards. Full of home renovation ideas she loves to obsess over. But then I find it. A video file. Dated just 2 weeks ago. From one of her previous business trips. Stare at it. File name looks innocent enough. Something inside tells me not to press play. I know what I'm about to see. But hit play anyway. My stomach drops instantly. It's not just any video. It's Victoria and Thomas, her CEO, in bed together. Feel like someone slammed a sledgehammer into my chest. Pulse racing. Can barely breathe. Can't look away, even though every second makes my skin crawl. My wife, my Victoria, laughing and whispering to him, like they're in their own little world, completely oblivious to everything outside that hotel room. This isn't some mistake, not some drunken one-time slip-up. This was deliberate, planned, ongoing affair. Snap the tablet shut, hands shaking uncontrollably, mouth dry as sandpaper. Sit there for what feels like hours, just staring at the dark screen, trying to piece together how I ended up here. This is the woman I built my life around, person I trusted more than anyone, and she's out there, giving herself to some guy, like it's no big deal, like I don't even exist. Everything feels like a lie now. Every moment we shared, every memory together. Suddenly it all seems fake, like she's been playing a role this whole time, and I was too blind to see it. Want to scream, want to wake her up and demand answers. But there's nothing left to ask. I have all the answers now. Don't sleep that night. Just pack my stuff, throw it into a duffel bag, leave her lying there in our bed like nothing happened. Don't even try to wake her. Don't want to see her face before I leave. Put the tablet back on the nightstand. Open to that video. Let her wake up to it. Let her see what I've seen. Then walk out the door. Drive aimlessly for hours after leaving the house. Head is buzzing. Every thought crashing into the next. No matter how hard I try. Can't erase the image of that video from my mind. Victoria laughing in bed with him. Like I don't even exist. Grip the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turn white. Every corner we turned together. Every dream we shared. Every plan for the future. All shattered in an instant. By the time I pull into some random motel on the outskirts of Denver, sun is starting to rise. Feel completely numb. Drained of everything. Slump into a cheap chair in the dingy room. Staring at the peeling wallpaper. Keep expecting to feel something. Rage. Sadness. Betrayal. Anything? But all I feel is empty. Can't just disappear though. As much as I want to. Need time to think. Figure out my next move. No, I can't avoid Victoria forever. She'll wake up to the tablet. She'll know I've seen it. Phone will start ringing soon. Sure enough, it doesn't take long. Around 10 a.m., my phone buzzes on the table. Her name lights up the screen. Let it ring out. Then again. And again. Finally, she texts, "Where are you? What's going on? Why did you leave?" Stare at the message. Feel my pulse picking up speed. The audacity to act like she doesn't know. About to smash my phone into the wall. When the next text comes in, "I don't know what you think you saw, but it's not what it looks like. Please come home so we can talk." Not what it looks like? Is she serious? There's no twisting what I saw. Video was clear as day. No amount of lies could cover that up. But that's Victoria. She always had a way of twisting reality. Turning situations around until you questioned your own mind. Can already hear the excuses lining up. She'll play the victim. Say I'm being unreasonable. Maybe even try to pin it on me. Like I somehow pushed her into Thomas's bed. Wait a while. Don't respond. Let her squirm. No, she'll try calling again. And she does. Over and over. Her name lighting up my phone like a bad dream that won't end. Finally pick up. The moment I answer, she launches into her rehearsed speech, voice dripping with fake concern. "Listen, I don't know what's going on, but I think there's been a misunderstanding. Please just come home, okay? We need to talk about this like adults." Feel my jaw tightening. A misunderstanding? You think I misunderstood a video of you and your boss in bed together? Silence. Wait for her response. Can already hear the gears turning in her head. Scrambling for a way out. That was nothing. It's not what you think. Thomas and I were just really close because of work. He's going through a rough time with his marriage, and I was just trying to be there for him. It didn't mean anything. You're overreacting. Overreacting? My hands are shaking now. The nerve of this woman. I watched the whole thing, Victoria. Don't insult me by pretending it was nothing. You two were together, laughing like I didn't even exist. She lets out a frustrated sigh. Can picture her pacing our living room, probably trying to come up with her next lie. Okay, look, I'm sorry. I really am. I know it looks bad, but it's not like I was going to leave you for him. It just happened, okay? It's complicated. You've been so distant lately, and I didn't know how to deal with it. I wasn't thinking. Complicated? That's what she calls this mess. Her excuse is that I was distant. Can't believe what I'm hearing. So this is my fault now? I snap. You're blaming me for your decision to sleep with your boss? Don't twist my words, I didn't say that. You don't know what it's been like for me these past few months. You've been checked out, always distracted. You stopped paying attention to me. I needed someone and Thomas was there. I made a mistake, but you can't pretend you've been perfect either. Feel like my head is going to explode. Her voice, her excuses, the manipulation. It's too much. A mistake, is that what you're calling it? You planned it, Victoria. Business trips, late nights, hiding your phone. This wasn't some one-time slip-up. This has been going on for months, hasn't it? She doesn't deny it. For the first time since all of this started. Her voice cracks. I never wanted to hurt you. I didn't mean for it to get this far. I was going to end it, I swear. I don't know how everything got so messed up. Her words hit me, but they don't make a dent in the wall I've put up. This is the same Victoria who could twist any situation, until she came out on top. She isn't crying because she regrets what she did. She's crying because she got caught. I've heard enough. I'm not coming back, I say. Cut her off mid-sentence. This is over, Victoria. You made your choice. Now live with it. Before she can respond, hang up. The moment I hang up, silence in the room feels suffocating. Victoria's voice still echoes in my ears, replaying her ridiculous excuses and lies. Stare at the phone, half expecting it to start buzzing again, with more calls, more desperate texts, trying to reel me back in. But this time nothing. The quiet is unnerving, like the calm before a storm. Sit there trying to process everything. Part of me can't believe I just walked out on my wife, that I'm sitting in a rundown motel, my whole life unraveling over a single video. But another part of me knows this was coming, even if I refuse to see it. Victoria's betrayal didn't happen overnight. Wasn't a sudden decision she made in the heat of the moment. It was calculated, a slow burn betrayal that unfolded over months, and I had been too blind, too trusting to catch it. Before it spiraled out of control, I wasn't innocent in all of this. Let things slide. Ignored the warning signs, because I didn't want to face the truth. And now the truth was staring me in the face, ripping my world apart piece by piece. As the hours tick by, try to think about what to do next, but can't get past the anger bubbling up inside me. It isn't just the cheating, though that's bad enough. It's the way Victoria tried to gaslight me, turning it around like I'm to blame, telling me I was distant. That's how she justified sleeping with her boss, by saying I hadn't been paying enough attention to her. Such a cheap, pathetic excuse. Victoria always had a way of deflecting blame, making herself the victim. Even now, after getting caught in the worst way possible, she couldn't admit she'd done something unforgivable, still trying to protect her image, like this was all some misunderstanding we could talk through and move past. I wasn't going to let her get away with it. The next day, I start making phone calls, first to my parents. They're shocked, of course, Mom practically in tears, asking if I'm okay, if there's anything they can do. My dad, always the practical one, just gives me the advice I need to hear. You need to get a lawyer, son, now. Dad is right. Not just dealing with emotional wreckage, about to go to war. Victoria and I built a life together. Legal implications, financial ties that need to be severed. This isn't just a breakup. It's going to be a battle. Need to be ready. Find a divorce lawyer later that afternoon. Consultation is brutally straightforward. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. This isn't going to be easy, he says. Flipping through the notes I'd given him. She'll probably fight back. Most people do. But given what you've told me, and if you have solid evidence like that video, you have a good case. Hand over the tablet. Video still sitting on it. Feels like passing off a ticking time bomb, but need that proof to protect myself. Lawyer watches first few seconds, his face tightening. This will do, he mutters. Shutting it off before it gets worse? I'll get the paperwork started. Thought I'd feel relieved, like I was finally taking control of the situation, but instead it feels hollow. No satisfaction in knowing I'm about to rip my marriage apart legally. No comfort in the fact that I'm winning this. Don't want to win anything. Want the life I thought I had. The one Victoria destroyed. That night. Sitting in the same motel room, staring at the cracked ceiling. Start getting texts from friends. Seems Victoria has already begun her damage control. Reaching out to people. Spinning her version of events. Trying to make me look like the unreasonable one. The one who overreacted. Know she'd go this route. Know she'd play the victim to anyone who would listen. One of my best friends, Oliver, calls me, his voice tight with frustration. Bro, I don't know what Victoria's been saying. But she's telling people you just left her out of nowhere. That she doesn't even know why. What's going on? Sigh and lean back against the wall. Yeah, she's lying. You wouldn't believe the crap she's pulling. Try me. So I tell him everything. The video, the business trips, the lies, how she tried to blame it on me. Oliver is quiet for a while after I finish. Can hear him take a deep breath on the other end. That's messed up, man. I had no idea. She's been making it sound like you just bailed out of nowhere. Yeah, well, that's Victoria for you, I mutter. Always playing the innocent one. Do you want me to talk to people? Set the record straight? Pause for a moment. Part of me wants to expose her. Show everyone the real Victoria, the one who'd been sneaking around with her boss while I was sitting at home like an idiot. But another part of me knows it wouldn't matter. People will believe whatever they want to believe. And Victoria is good at getting people on her side. Nah, don't worry about it, I say finally. Let them think what they want. It'll all come out eventually. After hanging up, stare at the phone again. Wonder what Victoria is doing now. Is she at home sitting in the dark, thinking about what she'd done? Or is she already making her next move? Figuring out how to protect herself? How to salvage her reputation? Would like to think she's feeling some kind of guilt, some shred of regret for what she did to me. But deep down I know better. Victoria isn't the type to feel guilty. She'd feel inconvenienced, sure. She'd be upset that her life was getting turned upside down. But guilt? Regret? Those emotions aren't part of her makeup. And that realization, more than anything, tells me I made the right decision walking out that door. The days after I left were a blur. Lawyers, paperwork, late-night drives to nowhere. Like being stuck in some twisted reality where everything I thought I knew was a lie. My phone becomes a battlefield. Victoria's texts flooding in every few hours, each one more desperate and manipulative than the last. At first, she sticks to her original story, still clinging to the ridiculous excuse that it wasn't what it looked like. I ignore her. What else could I do? She'd made her choices. No way I'm getting sucked back into her web of lies. Then she shifts tactics. You just left me here. I'm falling apart and you won't even talk to me. After everything we've been through, you owe me a conversation. Oh, really? Laugh out loud when I read that one. The sheer nerve of it. As if I owe her anything after what she did. Can almost hear her voice in my head. The way she always managed to twist things. Until I felt like the bad guy. But not this time. Not falling for it anymore. Seen behind the mask? There's no going back. Don't respond. The next message hits harder. You know this didn't mean anything, right? It was just a stupid mistake. You and I were real. We have a life together. I messed up, but please don't throw everything away over this. There it is. Her final play. Victoria isn't used to losing control. She's used to getting what she wants, manipulating people to see things her way. She thinks she can rope me back in, that I'll remember all the good times, and suddenly decide to forgive and forget. But every time I even consider opening that door, the image of her and Thomas comes crashing back. The way she smiled at him, the same smile I thought was just for me. The way she casually wrecked our marriage, without even blinking. She doesn't care about us. She cares about saving face, about making sure her life doesn't fall apart. I'm not a person to her anymore. I'm damage control. Next day, my lawyer calls. He's filed the divorce papers. That's it. First real step toward ending everything. Feel a strange mix of relief and grief. 7 years together, 4 years of marriage, all going to be boiled down to legal documents. Later that afternoon, get the message I knew was coming. You seriously filed for divorce? Really? You're going to throw everything away because I made one mistake? You're unbelievable. You didn't even give me a chance to explain. Read the text over and over, fingers tightening around the phone. This is classic Victoria, flipping the script, making me out to be the irrational one, like I'm the one overreacting. The anger inside me is boiling again. How could she still not get it? How could she still think this was about one mistake? Before I can stop myself, text back. One mistake? You think this is about one mistake, Victoria? This was months of lying. Months of sneaking around behind my back while I was stupid enough to trust you. Don't act like this is something we can just talk about and fix. We're done. Accept it. Can feel my heart pounding as I hit send, waiting for the inevitable response. It doesn't take long. I knew you'd do this. You're so self-righteous. You think you're perfect. You've been distant for months. I needed someone and Thomas was there. You pushed me into this. If you hadn't been so cold, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Nearly crushed my phone in my hand. There it is. The blame game. Now it's my fault that she was sleeping with her boss. Take a deep breath. Force myself to calm down. Not going to get pulled into her twisted logic. Won't let her poison my mind with her warped reality. But she isn't done yet. Later that night, my phone buzzes again. This time it isn't just a text. It's a photo. Picture of us from our honeymoon, standing on the beach in Maldives, smiling at each other like nothing in the world could touch us. The caption below it, remember this? We were so happy we can be that again. Don't give up on us. My chest tightens as I stare at the photo. For a second, the memory rushes back. How simple and perfect everything felt back then. We had no idea what was waiting for us down the line. No idea how things would unravel. For just a moment, feel that familiar pull. The one that makes me want to forgive her, to try to patch things up, to pretend like maybe, just maybe this was fixable. But then reality slams back into me. That photo is nothing but a snapshot from a different life. A life that doesn't exist anymore. The woman in that picture isn't the one who betrayed me. The woman in that picture didn't cheat, didn't lie, didn't destroy our trust. That Victoria is gone. Or maybe she was never real in the first place. Delete the message without replying. Next morning, wake up to find she's taken it up a notch. Now it isn't just private texts. She's gone public. My phone starts blowing up with messages from mutual friends. Some confused, others already taking sides. Turns out Victoria has posted a long, emotional message on social media, talking about how I had abandoned her, how she had made a mistake, but I wasn't willing to fight for our marriage. The post is filled with vague half-truths, carefully crafted to make her look like the victim. She doesn't mention the affair, of course, just that she'd been struggling, and that I had given up on her without a second thought. The comments are a mess. Some people supporting her, telling her to stay strong. That'll come around. Others are confused, asking what really happened. Why I had left so suddenly? Feels sick reading it all. Victoria is painting a picture that doesn't exist, rewriting the narrative to fit her needs, to protect her reputation. Want to scream? Want to post the truth for everyone to see? Show them the video? Tell them all exactly what she'd done. But stop myself. This isn't a fight worth having online. Victoria can spin her story however she wants. But the people who matter, the ones who really know me, they'll see through her lies eventually. The rest can believe whatever they want. Don't care anymore. Done playing her game. After Victoria's social media stunt, texts and calls from friends come pouring in like a tidal wave. People who hadn't talked to me in months suddenly have opinions about my marriage, about me. Some are genuinely concerned, but most just want the drama. Everyone digging for details, asking me to clear things up, give my side. The gossip is already spreading, and Victoria has made sure she looks like the broken-hearted wife, trying to save her marriage while I play the role of the villain who walked out on her. I ignore most of it. Responding feels pointless. Not going to throw fuel on her fire, no matter how badly I want to call her out in front of everyone. But one message from my friend Claire stops me in my tracks. She isn't just a mutual friend. She was someone I had known long before Victoria came into the picture. Her text is blunt. I need to talk to you. Something's up with Victoria. Call me. Something about that message sends chills down my spine. Claire isn't the type to stir up drama. She stays out of everyone's business. If she's reaching out like this, it has to be serious. Call her immediately. Hey, I start. Feel tension building in pit of my stomach. What's going on? Claire doesn't waste any time. Listen, I've been hearing things. I don't know how much you know. But Victoria's been telling people some pretty wild stuff. Not surprised. Yeah, I figured. She's painting me as the guy who abandoned her, right? Claire's voice tightens. It's more than that. She's telling people you've been abusive. That's why you left. Because she was about to tell everyone the truth. The words hit me like a slap to the face. Abusive? She's accusing me of abuse? Can barely form a sentence. What the hell? I know, Claire says quickly, cutting in before I can process it. It's total bulls asterisk asterisk T, but some people are eating it up. She's been playing the victim hard. Now she's claiming that you left because you knew she was going to expose you. My mind is racing. This isn't just Victoria spinning the narrative. This is her lighting it on fire. Accusing me of cheating would have been bad enough. But abuse? She's trying to ruin me completely. And for what? Because I caught her with Thomas? Because she couldn't stand the thought of losing control? This isn't about the affair anymore. This is about destroying me. Clench my jaw, anger rising to a point where I can barely see straight. Claire, this is insane. You know none of that's true. I know that's why I'm telling you. She's telling anyone who will listen. I thought you should know before things get worse. Thank her. My head's still spinning. Hang up the phone. Sit in the quiet motel room. Trying to catch my breath. Feels like every time I think this couldn't get worse, Victoria finds a way to drag me deeper into the mess she created. It wasn't enough for her to cheat, to lie. Now she's trying to bury me with these disgusting accusations. Know how fast rumors can spread. Once that kind of lie is out there, it will stick. People will whisper, speculate. Even if I fight back, the damage will be done. Have to act fast. Immediately call my lawyer. His calm voice does little to settle my growing rage, but he gets straight to the point. This changes things, he says. If she's making these kinds of accusations, you need to be ready to protect yourself. Do you have any evidence of her cheating besides the video? Evidence? Feel the weight of the words sink into my gut. Didn't exactly go around documenting her lies. Man, the video is the only solid proof I have. There's a pause on the other end of the line. Okay, that's good, but we need to get ahead of this. If she's claiming abuse, she might try to escalate things legally. Restraining orders, false reports, anything to make you look bad. I'm going to file a formal response to her divorce claims. We'll include the video, and I'll recommend that you stay away from any direct contact with her from now on. No texts, no calls. If she wants to communicate, it goes through me. My hands are shaking. You think she'll try to get me arrested? Wouldn't put anything past her. You need to be smart about this. The call ends, but the unease stays with me. Victoria has just escalated this to a whole new level. Don't know who she is anymore. This isn't the woman I married. Not even close. This is someone else. Someone dangerous. Later that evening, sitting scrolling through my phone, start seeing the fallout of Victoria's lies spreading online. People posting vague comments, sharing cryptic messages about the truth finally coming out. And Victoria's bravery, some people buying her story, others seem confused. But no one knows what's really going on. Then out of nowhere, message pops up from Oliver, one of my closest friends. He's been radio silent since everything went down. Figured Victoria had gotten to him too. But his message makes me stop. Dude, I just saw what she's saying about you. We need to talk ASAP. Dial his number immediately. Oliver picks up after first ring. Man, I don't even know where to start, he says. His voice low. I didn't want to believe it, but I've been hearing things. People are saying you're dangerous. That you hurt Victoria. Close my eyes, trying to hold back the frustration. Oliver, it's all lies. She's making this up because I caught her cheating with her boss. She's trying to flip the story and ruin me. He sighs heavily on the other end. I thought something was off. I knew you weren't like that, man. I've known you for years. But she's convincing. You wouldn't believe how many people are eating up her story. Yeah, well, she's trying to make sure I don't come out of this with anything. She'll burn the whole thing down if she has to. Oliver goes quiet for a moment, then says something that hits me hard. Look, I know you don't want to hear this, but maybe you should expose her. Show people the video. I know it's dirty, but she's dragging your name through the mud. If you don't do something soon, it's only going to get worse. Don't want to play dirty. Don't want to stoop to Victoria's level and air our dirty laundry in front of the whole world. But what Oliver said lingers in my mind. She isn't going to stop. She'll keep pushing until I'm backed into a corner, with no way out. Maybe it's time to fight back. After the call with Oliver, sit in the dim motel room, staring at the ceiling. Never wanted to be this person. Someone who had to defend his reputation from lies. But here I am, in the middle of a war I never asked for. Victoria has shown her true colors, and they're ugly. If I don't protect myself, she'll paint me as the villain, no matter what the truth is. Maybe it's time to show everyone exactly who the real villain is. The decision to fight back wasn't easy, but it became necessary. Victoria had crossed a line. This wasn't just personal anymore, it was public. She was dismantling my life piece by piece, and if I didn't do something, she'd win. Not going to let her tear me down with lies, not without a fight. Next morning I call Oliver again. I'm doing it, I say. My voice more resolute than I felt. I'm putting it out there. The video, the truth. I'm done letting her control this narrative. Oliver doesn't hesitate. Good, you need to, man. It's the only way to clear your name. She's already poisoned half of our friends against you. And the longer you stay quiet, the worse it'll get. We work out a plan, not going to just upload the video and let it speak for itself. No, this needs to be strategic. I'd release a statement with it. Explain everything in clear, simple terms. No drama. No emotional outbursts, just the facts. People need to know that Victoria isn't the victim she's pretending to be. That night, sit in front of my laptop, hands shaking as I type out the post. Keep it short, to the point. Every word feels like a punch to the gut, but it's necessary. I've stayed quiet for too long. Many of you have heard Victoria's side of the story, and I need you to know the truth. I didn't leave her because of some sudden irrational decision. I left because she was cheating on me for months. Victoria was having an affair with her boss. And I discovered it when I found a video of them together. I've attached that video below. I'm not proud of sharing this. But I can't stand by and let my reputation be destroyed by lies. This is the truth. Make your own judgments. Stare at the words on the screen. The video file attached at the bottom feels surreal, like I'm outside of myself. Watching this whole thing play out from a distance, part of me wants to delete everything. To walk away? Let the world believe whatever it wants. But I can't. Not just fighting for my reputation, fighting for my dignity, for the truth. With a deep breath, hit post. The fallout is instant. My phone buzzes nonstop. Notifications pouring in faster than I can keep up. People I haven't heard from in years. Messaging me. Commenting on the post. Reacting to the video. The responses are a chaotic mix of shock, support, and disbelief. Some people are furious at Victoria. The video leaves little room for doubt. Her affair with Thomas is undeniable. Comments flood in. Holy crap, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. She's been lying to all of us. That's disgusting. Stay strong, man. But not everyone is on my side. Victoria's loyalists, her friends, the ones she'd already poisoned, come to her defense, throwing out their own wild theories. How do we know this wasn't a setup? Maybe Victoria was forced into it. There are two sides to every story. I'm sure Victoria has her reasons. Her reasons. It's laughable. People bending over backwards to justify her actions, to cling to the version of Victoria they thought they knew. But the video doesn't lie. Then Victoria herself enters the fray. Her first move is predictable. Posts a long emotional response, filled with all the classic Victoria tactics, playing the victim, deflecting blame, painting me as a monster for exposing her private life. I'm devastated that he would do something so cruel. Yes, I made a mistake. But what he's doing now is unforgivable. I was vulnerable and going through a hard time. I'm not proud of what happened. But airing this out in public like this? It's a violation of my privacy. And it's only proving that he was never the man I thought he was. I hope everyone sees him for what he truly is. The comments under her post are split. Some people still rallying behind her, calling me out for releasing the video, others furious at her, demanding to know why she lied to them for so long. The backlash is hitting her hard. Can almost picture her pacing in our living room, desperately trying to keep control of the story as it slips through her fingers. But then things take a turn I didn't expect. A few days later, get a call from Oliver. His voice is tense. Man, I just heard something crazy. Thomas's wife is involved now. Wait, what? My mind races trying to catch up. Yeah, man, Oliver continues. Word spreading that Thomas's wife found out about the affair because of your post. She's furious. Apparently, she had no idea what was going on until the video surfaced. She's been reaching out to people, asking questions. Sounds like she's getting ready to divorce him. Feel a strange mixture of satisfaction and guilt. Hadn't thought about the wider impact of posting the video. It wasn't just my life being torn apart. Thomas's marriage was crumbling too. His wife had been blindsided just like I had. And now, because of me, she knew the ugly truth. Oliver continues. Dude, this might be bigger than we thought. Thomas is in serious trouble at work. Rumor has it some of the high-ups at his company saw the video. They're talking about a scandal. He could lose his job. Sit down, letting the weight of everything settle in. This isn't just about Victoria anymore. My decision to go public had sent ripples through other people's lives. Thomas was facing the consequences of his actions, and it was all crashing down on him. Part of me feels vindicated, like justice is finally being served. But another part of me can't help but feel guilty. Thomas's downfall wasn't my responsibility, though. He made his choices, just like Victoria did. They were the ones who had betrayed their spouses, and now the consequences were coming. Still hard to shake the feeling that I had thrown a grenade into everyone's lives. As the days pass, watch the fallout from a distance. Victoria's social media presence becomes more erratic. She's clearly losing control. The story is no longer hers to manipulate. People are seeing through her lies. No amount of emotional posts can salvage her reputation. The final blow comes when Thomas's wife Sophia reaches out to me directly. Never met her before, but her message is calm, collected, and surprisingly compassionate. I'm sorry for what you've been through. I've seen the video. I want you to know that I had no idea what was going on between Thomas and Victoria. I filed for divorce. If you need anything, let me know. We're both going through the same hell. Her words hit me harder than expected. We're strangers, but we're bound by this shared betrayal. 2 lives, 2 marriages, torn apart by the same affair. Respond simply, thanking her. Wishing her strength through her own battle. As the dust settles, realize that the worst part of all this wasn't the public drama, the lies, or even the legal mess that followed. The worst part was realizing how easily someone you trust can turn on you. Victoria had been my world, and she had shattered everything without a second thought. But now, finally, the world could see who she really was. The mask was off, and there was no putting it back on. The aftermath of going public is a strange, surreal experience. For the first time in months, the tides are turning in my favor. The The truth has been exposed, and Victoria's carefully constructed image is crumbling before everyone's eyes. Can almost feel her panic through the screen as she scrambles to regain control. But it's too late. The damage is done, and there's no undoing it. But the thing about someone like Victoria is they don't just fold when they lose. No, they come back swinging harder, meaner. And sure enough, she does exactly that. The morning after Sophia, Thomas's wife, files for divorce, get a call from my lawyer. His voice is sharp, urgent. We've got a situation. Victoria is accusing you of harassment. Can barely believe my ears. Harassment? How? I haven't even spoken to her since I left. He sighs, clearly frustrated. She's claiming that your post was an attempt to publicly humiliate and harass her. And she's saying you've been stalking her. She's filed for a restraining order. Feels like someone punched me in the gut. A restraining order? This is classic Victoria, turning the situation on its head, trying to flip the victim card after getting exposed. She isn't just trying to ruin my reputation anymore. She's trying to make me look like a threat. Know what she's doing. If she can't win in the court of public opinion, she'll try to drag me down in any way she can. How is this even legal? I ask. She's the one who cheated, lied, and tried to destroy me. And now she's playing the harassment card? My lawyer's voice remains calm, but can tell he's as frustrated as I am. Unfortunately, these kinds of tactics aren't uncommon in high-conflict divorces. She's going to argue that by posting the video, you crossed a line. But don't worry, we have the evidence we need. We can show that your actions were a response to her behavior, not an attempt to harass her. Still, this is going to get ugly. Ugly was an understatement. As the legal battle intensifies, Victoria ramps up her smear campaign. She paints herself as a victim of revenge and public shaming, accusing me of using the video to destroy her life. She even tries to get a few mutual friends to back her up, telling them that I was becoming obsessed, that I was dangerous. But by now, the cracks in her story are too big to cover up. People aren't buying it anymore. The video had been a wake-up call, and while some still sympathized with her, more and more were turning against her, seeing her for who she really was. The sympathy act was wearing thin. A few weeks after the restraining order drama, something happens that completely shifts the playing field. One evening, as I'm sitting in the motel room, my phone buzzes with a notification. It's from an anonymous account, a direct message on social media. Normally, I'd ignore something like that, but the subject line catches my eye. You need to see this about Victoria. Curiosity gets the better of me. Click on it, and what I find makes my blood run cold. It's a series of screenshots, texts, emails, and photos, all from Victoria to another man. This isn't Thomas. This is someone else entirely. The messages are explicit, detailing their plans to meet up, their ongoing affair, even mocking me for how clueless I had been during all of it. My hands shake as I scroll through the messages. It wasn't just that she had been cheating with Thomas. Victoria had been carrying on multiple affairs. The woman I had loved, the woman who had looked me in the eye and told me she was just trying to be there for her boss, had been lying to me for far longer than I had ever imagined. This went deeper than I thought. Can't sit still. Call Oliver immediately, needing to vent, needing to process this new betrayal. Dude, I blurt out. It wasn't just Thomas. She's been screwing around with someone else too. I've got proof. Texts, photos. This whole time she's been lying to everyone. To me, to our friends. She's a serial cheater. Oliver is quiet for a moment, then lets out a low whistle. Holy shit, that's next level, man. You need to drop this bomb. I'm going to, I say, already pulling up my lawyer's number. But I'm not just going to post it this time. I want this to hit where it really hurts. And so we did. The next day, with my lawyer's guidance, send the screenshots directly to Victoria's lawyer, along with a letter making it clear, if she doesn't drop the harassment claims and retract the restraining order, this evidence would go public. I wasn't playing games anymore. If she wanted to take this to the next level, I'd meet her there. The response comes back fast. Victoria's lawyer, clearly rattled by the new evidence, agrees to drop all claims of harassment. There was no fight. Victoria had no more moves left to play. But that wasn't the end of it. Thomas's company had caught wind of the new affair as well, with 2 separate scandals now tied to his name. He was forced to step down from his position as CEO. His entire career came crashing down, heard through the grapevine, that his divorce was turning into a legal bloodbath. Victoria's actions hadn't just destroyed our marriage. They had obliterated Thomas's life too. As for Victoria, her world had collapsed entirely. Her social media presence vanished. The friends she had relied on for support had gone silent. Heard she moved in with her parents. After losing the house in the divorce, her life, once carefully constructed around lies and manipulation, was now in shambles. I'd like to say that seeing her fall brought me some kind of satisfaction, but it didn't. Not really. All I felt was an overwhelming sense of relief, like I had been carrying this weight around for so long, and now it was finally gone. The divorce was finalized a month later. Got most of what I wanted. No alimony, no assets to split. Victoria didn't fight for anything. She couldn't. She was broken, just like the web of lies she had woven. The legal battle that had once seemed so daunting was now just another chapter closing behind me. After everything was done, sit with a beer in hand, staring out at the sunset. From a small rental house I'd moved into. It isn't much, but it's mine. My life is my own again. And I have my freedom back? And Victoria, she's a ghost. A cautionary tale of what happens when lies become your reality. What did I learn from all of this? That trust once shattered can never be fully repaired. That some people will stop at nothing to protect their image, even if it means destroying those around them. But most of all, I learned that no matter how dark things get, the truth always finds a way out. I'd been through hell, but I had come out the other side. The finality of the divorce came with a strange sense of peace. After months of chaos, lies, and betrayal, everything was over. Victoria was out of my life. Her web of deception exposed for everyone to see. Didn't expect to feel this empty though, not in a sad way, but in a way that made me realize how much space she had taken up, in my mind, in my heart, and in my life. Now she was gone, and I was left to rebuild. In the weeks that followed, started to reclaim pieces of myself I'd forgotten existed. Had spent so long trying to figure out what had gone wrong, blaming myself, wondering if I could have done something different. But the truth was simple. Victoria had destroyed our marriage. The moment she chose to live a lie, nothing I could have done would have changed that one afternoon. Cleaning out some old boxes, find a stack of photos from when Victoria and I first got married. The smiles, the laughter, it all feels so distant now. Stare at a picture of us on our honeymoon, standing by the ocean water, arms wrapped around each other, both of us grinning like we were invincible. For a long time, thought that was the real US, that no matter what happened, we'd always find our way back to that version of ourselves. But now, looking at those photos, realize something? The love we had back then, it wasn't built to last. It was surface level, born out of comfort and routine. Maybe I hadn't seen it at the time, but that relationship was fragile. When things got tough, when life threw curveballs, we didn't stand together. Victoria folded. She sought out attention from other men, instead of working on what we had. That's the kind of person she was, always looking for the easy way out, never willing to face her own problems. That realization gave me more closure than I expected. It wasn't just that Victoria had betrayed me. It was that she was incapable of being the partner I thought I married. She wasn't the woman I thought she was, and that wasn't my fault. It was who she had always been. Even if I hadn't seen it, toss the photos back in the box. Not out of anger, but out of a sense of moving on. Those moments were from another life, one that didn't exist anymore. I wasn't the same person I was back then either. In the following months, focus on healing. Start going to the gym more, reconnecting with old friends, even picking up hobbies I'd forgotten about, things I never had time for. When I was wrapped up in Victoria's drama, life surprisingly felt lighter. Occasionally, I'd hear whispers about Victoria, how she was trying to rebuild her life, how she'd fallen off the radar completely, or how she was telling anyone who'd listen that I had ruined her. But the truth was, I didn't care anymore. Victoria's version of the story didn't matter to me. She could spin whatever narrative she wanted. But I knew what happened. I knew the truth. And that was enough. One day, out of the blue, get a message from Sophia, Thomas's ex-wife. We hadn't spoken since she reached out during the fallout, but her message was brief and kind. Hey, just wanted to say I'm sorry again for everything you went through. I finalized my divorce too. Life's looking up now. Hope you're doing well. Take care. Smile while typing back a quick response. Thanks, Sophia. Glad to hear you're in a better place. Take care of yourself too. That was it. 2 lives forever connected by a shared betrayal, but both of us moving forward, stronger than we had been before. There was something oddly comforting in that. As time passed, found myself thinking about Victoria less and less. The bitterness, the anger, it all started to fade, replaced by a quiet sense of acceptance. I had survived the worst, and now it was time to live again. The idea of dating again felt distant, but not impossible. Wasn't ready, not yet. There was still too much healing to do. Too many things I needed to reclaim for myself. But for the first time in a long time, I wasn't afraid of the future. I wasn't holding on to the past. If there's one thing I'd tell anyone going through something like this, it's that betrayal can break you. But it doesn't have to define you. It takes time. More time than you might think. But you come out the other side stronger, clearer about what you want, and what you deserve. And sometimes that means leaving behind the people you thought you'd be with forever. I had spent years believing in a future with Victoria, but now I saw that future for what it really was, an illusion. The real future it was mine to shape without her, and that finally felt like freedom.